Shalom, shalom. It is 1 o'clock p.m. It is Friday, July the 18th. July the 18th. And I believe you all can see the title. It says, I can do bad all by myself. I can do bad all by myself. That is a phrase a lot of us are very familiar with. Most of us are familiar with that phrase, and at some point in time, many of us have said it. Many of us have said it. And it is to some extent true. To some extent true. However, in other instances, it's not so true, right? Today I'm gonna share some things. I'm gonna be a little transparent with you all today, and it's gonna be a journey today. It's gonna be a journey today because this right here is gonna resonate, I believe, with a lot of you all. It's gonna resonate with a lot of you all because, as this title says, I can do bad all by myself. And when you are someone who have had the opportunity to live life and to have experienced things that was not so pleasant and have gotten to a point where life is going well for you, you're able to see the light at the end of the tunnel, as a lot of us says. Hey, how you doing, Miss Liggins? Good to see you. So when you finally come to a place in your life where you're able to stand on your own, you're able to do well for yourself, you're able to gain some ground, as we might say, the last thing we want is to connect ourselves to someone, be it through marriage, friendship, family even, a job even. Connect ourselves to someone or something that causes us to either be pulled back in our journey, stop our forward move in our journey, and or actually completely hinder us and causes us to fall backwards. No one wants to put in all of the work and effort in having a better life only to find themselves being connected to someone who is causing them to fall backwards or to not be able to move as quickly as they was able to move when they were alone. Someone who is bringing unnecessary drama, unnecessary problems, unnecessary turmoil, be it financially, mentally, emotionally, spiritually. No one wants someone else to come along and hinder what they already have going when they have a good thing. So a lot of times when we connect with people, we often connect with people who we feel have some type of something to offer to us. No one connects to someone without thinking that there's going to be a benefit to that relationship. No one. I don't care who you are, what you have, how much you have, how little you have. No one connects to someone else unless they believe that doing so is going to bring them something, even if it's just joy and happiness, just being in their presence and their you know how sometimes you just connect with people who just make you laugh. And that's all that you want from the relationship, just to have a good time. Sometimes you connect with somebody who you feel, and these things are not always in the forefront of your mind. It's not like, oh, I'm going to go look for somebody who's going to make me laugh. We don't connect with people like that. We don't go, some of us, don't go seeking people to connect with them with the expectations that this person is going to be able to bring certain things to them. Sometimes some of us do go looking for people who can bring a specific thing to us, right? So when we find ourselves connected to someone who is not necessarily adding to us, and we feel like they're taking more than they're giving, or they're causing us to slow down in our movement, or they're causing us to have to pay more financially than what we had to pay before, or any different things like that, right? That's when the problems come in. That's when the problems come in, right? And so when you're connected to someone like this, and you start to reevaluate the relationship, and you start to question yourself, is it really worth being connected to this person? Is it really worth having this relationship when all it seems to bring to me is turmoil, or unhappiness, or an empty pocket, or hardship, or heartache, pain, resentment, even like different things that you might look at yourself and reevaluate. You can't even talk now. Reevaluate yourself on. And so I want to talk today. I know the title says I can do bad all by myself. And like I said, most of us say that or have said that at some point. But what I want us to really think about, I want to discuss long suffering. Long suffering, right? Long suffering, because according to Galatians chapter 5, verse 22, and like I said, I'm gonna be transparent with you all today. I'm gonna share something with you all that some of you may have heard before. Some of you may have witnessed if you're connected with me. Some of you know part of this story, right? But what you don't know is the unfolding of things. You don't know the unfolding of things. So I'm going to share some stuff with y'all today. And I'm not doing it to just put myself out there. I'm doing it because I know that there's a lot of you who are experiencing the same thing, or who have experienced the same thing. And I want us to get a different perspective. I want us to get a different perspective out of the experience that we're either going through now or have gone through in the past. I want us to look at things differently, right? So according to Galatians chapter 5, verse 22, and we're going to read it down to verse 26, and I'm going to tie this all in, right? Galatians chapter 5, verse 22 says, but the fruit of the Spirit is love, joy, peace, long suffering, gentleness, goodness, faith, meekness, temperance. Against such there is no law. And they that are Hamashiachs have crucified the flesh. They have crucified their flesh with the affections and lust. If we live in the Spirit, let us also walk in the Spirit. Let us not be desirous of vain glory, provoking one another, envying one another. I have to put this out there before I start with sharing what I have to share today, because I don't want, like I said, I don't want you all to think that I'm just coming up here sharing stuff with y'all just to be sharing stuff with you. It's a purpose. It's a purpose. It is a purpose. And out of all of what I just read, what I want to really keen in on today is the long suffering part. Because this is the part that a lot of us get wrong. In today's time, we live in a microwave world. Everything is fast, quick, and in a hurry. Everything fast, quick, and in a hurry. If it don't come fast, if it don't come quick, if it's not hurried up, we don't want it. We don't want no parts of it. We walk away. Hey, cuz, how you doing? We walk away. If things don't come quick, fast, and in a hurry, we walk away from things, and we dismiss people. We count people out. We disconnect from people. We even situations and or opportunities, right? It's not just people, it's everything. Thank you, you too, cuz I believe I haven't seen you. But it's just like, we have got to realize that if you are someone who is walking with the Most High, someone who seeks to have a true relationship with the Most High, if you are someone who say that you have the Holy Spirit living in you and He's guiding you, you have to understand that there's not always going to be happiness surrounding you. There's going to be a time of long suffering. However, we don't understand that concept. Most of us don't understand what long suffering really entails. And unfortunately, we are so quick to add in or to dismiss the whole idea of having patience, having endurance, having to go through some stuff. And we easily discredit people and discount people. And like I said earlier, we disconnect from people. So how many of you have heard men, married men, not just men, but married men who, for whatever reason, him and his wife haven't had sex in, let's say, a month, 2 months. And you have other people, mostly men, but also some silly women who would say, oh, if you ain't had sex in a month or 2 months with your wife, then you need to, it then pretty much saying it's okay for you to go find it from somebody else. It's okay for you to go get it from somewhere else. Well, my question is, who made that the rule? Who made that the law? Who made that okay? Who said that if you're not able to get what you need from your spouse in a timely fashion that you deem is a reasonable amount of time, that it's okay for you to step out your marriage and get it from someone else, be it sex, support, emotional support, money, whatever it may be. If you feel that your spouse is not giving you what you need within a certain time frame and you have been going without, who said that it is okay for you to go and seek it from somebody else? And when I say who said it, I'm not talking about when other people jump on the bandwagon, especially men and or your friends say, oh no, this is okay, this is doable, this is acceptable. Because we see it all the time. We see it all the time when a man would say, oh, my wife ain't had sex with me or won't give me sex, and it's been 6 months. She haven't had sex with me in 6 months. And everybody, for the most part, would jump on and say, oh, no, 6 months, either she got somebody else or if your wife don't have sex with you, then that gives you the okay to go and get it from somebody else because that's her fault. She should have been doing her wifely duties, you know. That's what they say. She should have been doing her wifely duties. It's been 6 months and you ain't had sex with your wife. It's been 2 months and you ain't had sex with your wife. It's been 3 weeks. Okay. Never mind why. Nobody ever really questions the why. Why not? What's going on? Let's get to the root cause of what's causing her not to have sex with you. Is it a health reason? Is it a trust issue? Have you been unfaithful to her? Nobody asked the questions of why is she not doing these things? And not only that, but how about the fact of, okay, well, who said that sex between husband and wife have to be every day, every week, every other day, 3 times a week, 4 times a week, twice a week, once a month, twice a month? Who sets these guidelines as time frame of intimacy being appropriate? Who sets those guidelines? Who sets those parameters, right? Who says, oh, these things supposed to happen this often or this much? I'm just using this as an example, right? Because this is one that is highly spoken of. This is one that we see a lot. This is one of those situations where a lot of people feel that it's justified for a husband to go out and have an affair. Oh, well, if your wife ain't giving it to him, he gonna get it from somewhere. Like, we even hear women saying this. If your wife ain't giving it to you, then he gonna get it from somewhere because a man gonna be a man. You know, we justify wrongdoings. We justify sin. We justify us pleasing our flesh. We justify the lust that dwells in us by somebody else's actions, but then we go and do something else based off of what they do or haven't done, right? And so when it comes to long suffering comes in so many different forms. It comes in so many different forms. But just listen to the word itself. Long suffering. Long suffering. It's kind of self-explanatory when you say it's self-explanatory. It's one of them words that you don't necessarily have to go and research what it means, because it's telling you you're going to suffer for a long time. You're going to suffer for a long time. But like I said, we live in a microwave world where we want a quick, fast, and in a hurry. And everything and anything that we desire to have, that's the mindset that we approach it. The mindset that we approach it got to come quick, fast, and in a hurry. We don't think about the sacrifice. We don't think about being patient. We don't think about having to endure things. We don't think about how long something may take to be obtainable. We don't think about those things. So when you are an individual and you are standing on your own and you're able to do things and obtain things on your own, and you feel like you reach a certain level of success on your own, and then when you're looking for a partner, or you're ready to be married, or maybe you are connected to someone and you're looking at what they're bringing to the table, which I hate that phrase, that's been another big thing that we say. When you look at what they bring to the table, or you start looking at how much they're taking away from the table that you have prepared, then we start to feel like these relationships are not as important. We start to look at people as they are a hindrance to our growth. They are a hindrance to our moving forward. They are a hindrance to who we are and who we want to be, right? And so when you start doing that, then you start feeling like, man, I could do bad all by myself. I could do bad all by myself. I don't need somebody else to come along and slow me down. I don't need somebody else to come along and to stop what I got going for myself, right? I don't need somebody else to come along and empty my pockets every time my pockets are halfway full. So when we start looking at situations like that, we start to disconnect ourselves from the very people who we really should be connected to. But we don't realize that, because in the moment, the suffering don't feel good. In the moment, the elevation that we were used to having is now being depleted, and that elevation is now going down, and it's plateauing to a valley. It's even going down in the valley, right? And we're not liking that. We're not liking that. So I'm saying all of this, right? I'm saying all of this because I'm trying to get us to get to the mindset of long suffering. I'm trying to get us to understand that when we are walking in the Spirit, when we are walking in the Holy Spirit, let me specify, hey mama, how you doing? When we're walking in the Spirit, we have got to understand that the fruits of that Spirit is going to produce love, is going to produce joy, is going to produce peace, it's going to produce long suffering. Long suffering is the topic of today's video. It's going to produce gentleness, it's going to produce goodness, it's going to produce faith, it's going to produce meekness, it's going to produce temperance. But in the process of it producing these things, don't think that all of these things are going to show up at the same time. These things are not going to show up at the same time. But if you continue to walk in the Spirit, these things will eventually manifest. And in the process of them manifesting, you're going through life. You're experiencing some things. And a lot of times, those things are not going to feel good. The thing's not going to feel good because you're being purged. You're being pruned. Things that are not of the Most High is being removed from you. And sometimes those things are so deep down in you that it takes a little while. It takes a little while, which is why we have to have long suffering. Which is why we have to have long suffering, right? So look, I'm going to share this with y'all because I love how the Most High show me. I can't speak for nobody else. I can only speak for me. I love how he shows me. Woo! I'm going to try my best not to be emotional, because I'm going to tell you, I'm a bucket of tears all the time. Because when the Most High shows up and he shows me and corrects me and he shows me the truth of myself, I can't do nothing but praise him, because I know it ain't me. Because at the end of the day, none of us like to think that we're the problem. None of us like to think that we're wrong. None of us like to think that where we stand is not where we belong. You know what I'm saying? So look, right? Okay, this is a testimony and a confession and a example and some of everything wrapped all into one, right? It is good. It's good. It's good. It's good. It's so good. It's so good. So look, right? Excuse me. A lot of you on my Facebook friend list, we've been friends ever since I got on Facebook for the most part. And some of you were there when me and my husband first started talking. I want to put that in your brain, right? I want y'all to go back. Y'all know, for those of you who were up here, y'all know when me and my husband first started talking, boy, we was all on Facebook. We was all, on Facebook, showing everybody this, showing everybody that, doing, and it was like, y'all got to see our relationship blossom from just being Facebook friends, because that's what it was for a long time. We literally was just Facebook friends who did not even know one another. We was literally Facebook friends who had mutual friends within our community, but we never crossed paths. All of these years, and when I say all of these years, ever since I'm 47, he's 48, ever since I was maybe about 14 years old or so, I've always heard his name being thrown around, but I've never met the guy. And it was funny because when we were younger, even when he was driving or whatever not, he used to come around my grandmom, Big Mama's neighborhood, and everybody knew him. They used to always run to his car and hype him up or whatever not, and not me. I'm sitting in the background, like, I don't know this dude, so I ain't running to his car. That was my mindset. But over the years, when we were younger, I've always heard of his name. We always had mutual friends or mutual associates, but we never crossed paths. We never actually met one another until we was in our late 30s, mid 30s, right? So on Facebook, we were friends, and you would have thought we knew each other. But we didn't. And I can draw this conversation out real long. I really can, but I'm gonna try to make it short. But anyways, so then I said I'm gonna try to make it short. So now I gotta reprogram my brain. I gotta come back. So let's fast forward, right? So when me and my husband decided to start dating, after being friends on Facebook for years and somewhat flirting, I guess you could say, somewhat flirting on Facebook, but not really. And when we decided to start dating, my husband, at the time when we started dating, was a functional alcoholic and a functional weed head. Most of y'all know this because he tells the story all the time. Not necessarily about us, meeting, but his past. He was a functional alcoholic and a functional pothead. And I'm not saying this to try to make him look bad, so don't take it as that. I'm giving you a testimony of how we have grown, right? And so, and don't think that I didn't have issues, because even though I wasn't drinking and I wasn't a pothead, don't think that I was perfect, because I won't. I had a whole lot of demons that I was dealing with myself. So anyways, this was information that he had told me up front. He was very forthcoming with the fact that he had a drinking problem. And that wasn't nothing new to me, because I was raised in a family of alcoholics. And I'm not talking about my mom and my dad. I'm talking about my grandparents and uncles and aunts and stuff like that. Like, I grew around alcohol abuse. So it was not new to me. So, me connecting myself with a man who had an alcohol problem wasn't necessarily uncommon or something that was, unimaginable. So, okay, boom, here we go. We're dating, and he tells me, he has an alcohol problem. And then as we're dating, I see how serious it is. I see how serious it is. Now, I need to walk y'all through this because when we started dating, I was heavily into church. I had just started, let me put it like that. I had got into church maybe 2.5 years before we started dating. 3 years, 3.5 years, something like that. So I was into church real heavy. I was growing spiritually. And so it came a point where I had to make a decision. Am I going to really try to connect with this man seriously, knowing that he has an alcohol problem and he smokes weed all the time? And even though he's functional, meaning he can hold a job and he's, able to communicate with people and this, that, and the third, I had to look at the situation for what it really was. And it's like, can I really deal with this? And it had got to a point where I was like, nah, I don't think I want to deal with this. But at this point, I already had feelings for the guy. So I went to the Most High one day. And I was serious. Because it's like, I'm not trying to waste my time. I'm not trying to waste my time with nobody else that's just going to waste my time. I'm not trying to waste my time with somebody else that's just going to waste my time. So I went to the Most High. And I said, what do I need to do? I need you to instruct me on what to do about this relationship, because I can't. I done been through too much. I done seen too much. It's just too much. And this right here is not another something I want to sign up for. But I want to do what you want me to do, and I need you to guide me. And the Most High told me, love him. And I said, yeah, I know. Love him. You always tell me that, because I always go to the Most High, and it's like, that's always the answer, love him. And it's like, yeah, I know. But normally in the past, it'll be like, love him. And at the same time, and he telling me love him, I know that he's not saying love him for real. It's like, love him, but let him go on by his business. And, that's what I have done in the past. But this time, it's like, okay, Most High, you always tell me that. That's not, like, I need a more concrete answer. Tell me what to do. And he said, love him. I said, okay, here we go. I know, love him. Love him. But what do I really do? And he said, love him. He told me 3 times. 3 times to love him. And I said, okay, love him. You always tell me to love him. It didn't hit me. He told me 3 times to love him. And I said, it hit me. Love him for real. And I said, oh, love him for real. And I said, oh, so this is going to be serious, huh? Love him for real. Like, through everything, through all of his issues, love him for real. So I sat there and I thought about that thing. And I was like, wow, this is deep. That's what I was saying to myself. This is deep. So at that moment, I knew, okay, well, Shavita, buckle up, because this is going to be a ride. This is what I'm saying to myself. Buckle up, because this is going to be a ride. Okay, how about less than 2 weeks after the Most High told me to love this man for real, he gets a DUI. And I'm like, oh, man, here we go with the shenanigans is what I'm thinking. I'm like, dang. And I went back and I was like, you told me to love him for real, but I didn't think it was going to happen this quick. That's what I'm thinking. I'm like, I didn't think the issues and the problems was going to start unfolding so fast. It was literally less than 2 weeks. And it's like, okay. So then I was like, but I told you, whatever you tell me to do, I'm going to do it. So I said, okay. So here we go. And, okay, so you got the DUI. So now you got financial problems because you got to get a lawyer. You got to go to jail on the weekends. You got to do all this stuff. Okay, the Most High told me love you for real. But don't you know, this is how good the Most High is. When the Most High told me to love him for real, he wasn't just talking to me about the things that I can see. Because see, it's easy to walk into a situation and see what is going on and to say, okay, I'm going to deal with this. But when you say I'm going to deal with something that you don't know is present, when you sign up to to do what the Most High wants you to do or instructs you to do, and you're serious about it because you know he's serious about it, and stuff start to come forth that you didn't know anything about, that's when you're really being tested, right? So when I walked in and my husband at the time, he wasn't my husband, but at that time he was to me because the Most High had already assigned him to me. He already told me this is gonna be your husband, so I was cool with it. Cool with it to the point of me knowing he was gonna be my husband. But it was like, okay, so already, dude got a DUI already, and now financially things are gonna be different. And now, not only financially, but now he's not going to be able to drive, and he's going to need a chauffeur and different things of that nature. So, okay, cool, boom. But this is how good the Most High is. As soon as my husband got that DUI, he expected me to leave and not deal with him anymore. That's what he had expected. He'll tell you this. He had expected for me to leave and no longer be connected with him. But I didn't leave. I stayed. And as soon as my husband got that DUI, y'all, he stopped drinking. He stopped drinking instantly. That DUI was like his wake-up call. It wasn't his first, it was his second, but it was his wake-up call. It was what he needed at the time to get him to reassess his life and the decisions that he was making and the choices he was making. And he decided to stop drinking and to stop smoking weed instantly. And when I say I've never met a person other than myself who has been able to cut something out that you know is not good for you cold turkey without somebody else having to constantly remind you that you shouldn't be doing something. This man stopped drinking cold turkey. He stopped smoking weed cold turkey, and he started changing his life, right? He started changing his life. And so I was like, woo, thinking, oh man, okay, so when he got the DUI, I'm thinking, man, we about to really go through some stuff, because this right here gonna be a long road, because I thought that it was gonna be a long process. I thought it was going to be a long process of him having to go through all different types of treatments, and not just once or twice, but like a long extended period of time, right? So I'm sitting up here bracing myself to deal with a man who is an alcoholic. But the alcoholism, I think that's the proper way of saying that, was taken away from him as soon as he got the DUI. And he was like, you know what? No, he made the decision to stop drinking and to stop smoking weed instantly. Instantly. I was amazed. So now I'm thinking, okay, so Most High, you know exactly what you're talking about. You told me to love him for real, and I decided to stay. And I'm so glad, because now he's not drinking anymore. Now he don't have, he's not smoking weed no more. And I'm thinking life gonna be grand, even though we got the little legal stuff to deal with and da-da-da-da-da to deal with because of the DUI. Great. I had no idea. Ooh, I had no idea when the Most High told me to love him for real, that some things was going to come up that I had no idea about. I had no idea that when the Most High told me to love him for real, that it was a test for me. I had no idea that when the Most High told me to love him for real, that it was going to be 10 years later, 11 years later, 11 and a half years later, that the reality of why he told me to love him for real was going to come all the way full circle and smack me right back in my face and say, didn't I tell you to love him for real? Now, how well have you done that? How long have you done that? Even though when you agreed that you would love him for real, and you thought that the problem that you was going to deal with was his alcoholism and his being a weed head, a pothead, smoking weed all the time, even though that's what you thought the problem was, it was some things that you didn't see that you had to deal with in these years that now has triggered how you handle this man. Yeah, you stayed there and you went through the long suffering. You went through the long suffering, but I need you to understand that how you endure your long suffering will also be judged, will also be looked at, will also be examined. You know, sometimes we stay in situations because we know that that's what we signed up for. But in the process of staying, we also cause issues in the situation. And we feel like, well, just because I'm here, that's good enough. Just because I'm connected, that's good enough. Just because I'm showing up, that's good enough. But the way you handle a person is also going to be looked at. It's also going to be critiqued. It's also going to be judged. It's also going to be something that the Most High is going to say, well, when I told you to love him for real, how well did you love him for real? Because let me tell y'all, there has been some times where some things came up and I held it against my husband. I had resentment towards my husband because of some things that I felt that we should have done that he was against. Like at the beginning, there were some investments. There were some investments that I really wanted to do. And he was really against. And to me, it didn't make sense. Why are you so against doing these things? Why don't you want to move forward? Like, I'm looking at things then. And I'm like, why are you against buying into this or buying into that or spending money to have this? It didn't make logical sense to me. It made absolutely no logical sense to me. And you know how people can say, if you are in a partnership with someone, you have to be in agreement whenever you're going to do anything big, right? You have to be in agreement. So if you're not in agreement with them when it comes to doing something big, then in my mind, if you are against doing something big, then you have to have something bigger in works or something bigger planned, right? If you're going to tell me to walk away from something that is big and something that's good, you got to have something better already lined up or something better coming. But then what happens when that better or bigger don't show up and you done let go of the big? You start to feel some kind of way. Because it's like, we could have had this. We could have had that. We could have been here by now. But you didn't want those things. And in the process of you not wanting those things, I thought that you had some grand idea, some grand scheme, something bigger in works. And the bigger never came. So you're going to harvest and you're going to have resentment. I had resentment toward my husband for the longest time. And I knew it. And he knew it. I just didn't know how to get rid of it. But at the same time of me not knowing how to get rid of it, I also, to some extent, was looking for different things to add to the pile to, what's the word I'm looking for? To make my resentment valid. To cause my resentment to be valid. And at the end of the day, it don't matter. It does not matter how much validation you may have. Resentment is not good. So it wasn't until recently, right? It wasn't until the other day I was watching one of my favorite teachers on YouTube, and she was was talking about I don't remember the title. I think it was something like the unwanted prophet or something like that. The undeniable prophet or the unreceived. I don't remember the title. I shared it on my Facebook page, but I was watching her live while she was doing her Bible breakdown of Jeremiah chapter 20, and it slapped me in my face that day. That's when it slapped me in my face, because I resonated with the prophet Jeremiah 100%. And in the process of me resonating with Jeremiah, it came to my understanding about long suffering, y'all. Long suffering. Sometimes we pat ourselves on the back, because this is what I was doing. I was patting myself on the back for having to, deciding to endure long suffering. I was patting myself on the back for staying in as long as I have been here, and patting myself on my back for enduring. But then the Most High came and slapped me upside the head and said, yeah, you might have been here enduring, but you ain't do what I told you to do, because I told you to love him. I told you to love him. I told you to love him. And in the process, you loved him begrudgingly. You've been loving this man begrudgingly because of the things that I had already pre-warned you about, even though you didn't know the specifics. You knew that challenging times was coming. You knew that you were going to go through some stuff. You knew you was in for a ride. But because you thought that the ride was dealing with something that you can see, that when the things started to show up that you couldn't see, you started to feel some kind of way about it. You started to feel some kind of way about it. And you started holding resentment towards him. And in the process of you holding resentment towards him, you really didn't endure long suffering. No, you really didn't endure long suffering, because while you were calling yourself long suffering, you weren't grasping what I was trying to show you. You weren't doing it with love, and you weren't doing it with gladness. You wasn't doing it in peace. You wasn't doing it because at any moment you will cause hell in the house whenever things really got too rocky for you. That's how we do, y'all. Because we still have this mindset of I can do bad all by myself. I can do bad all by myself. I still had that mindset. I still had that mindset that I can do bad all by myself. So I say all of this to say, again, the topic really is about long suffering. If you are married, if you are connected to relationships, be it family, friends, or you in what we call today a committed relationship, but you're not married, and you're in it, but you're not, you're in it, but you're not, you're suffering, but you're not suffering well. I'm gonna say this, like, I'm gonna put it to you like this, right? What's the purpose? Are you getting anything out of it? Are you learning? Are you growing? Or are you just using it as a reason to pat your own self on the back? Get something out of it. Grow. I want to say it like this, right? I used to say this to people. If you're in a relationship and you think your significant other is cheating on you, why go look for the evidence that they're cheating on you if you're not willing to leave, if you're not willing to make a change? Finding the evidence is only going to confirm what you already believe in your heart to be happening. So unless you're willing to leave that person, why bring yourself even more heartache? Wouldn't it be better if you just continue your life not knowing if you're not going to leave? It makes absolutely no sense. So now let's reverse it. If you're not married, let me put it to the people who are not married. If you're not married, but you're in a committed relationship and you're suffering in this relationship, why? Why? Why are you suffering long in an uncommitted relationship? And when I say uncommitted, I'm talking about you're not married. This don't mean you need to rush out there and go get married. No, this means you need to reevaluate your stance. You need to look at yourself and ask yourself, why am I allowing this? Now, to those of you who are married, understand that when you get married, you signed up for this. You signed up for this. But in the process of you signing up for this, and in the process of, for those of you who are, determined to not leave because you're suffering, learn to suffer well. Don't just suffer for the sake of suffering, but learn how to do it well. Learn how to do it in a way that you learn and grow and get something out of it that's going to help you and your significant other, you and your spouse. Understand that long suffering comes with this. So for you men, and some of you women, because some of y'all think the same way, who think that just because you're not getting what you need in the moment from your spouse, be it for however long, days, weeks, months, years, don't mean that that qualifies you to just go out there and try to seek it from someone else. You signed up for this. Remember the vows? For better or for worse? For better or for worse. Right? For better or for worse. And anything in between the better and the worse. So if you're going through long suffering, understand that you can go through long suffering well. And also reevaluate yourself. Look at yourself in the mirror and ask yourself, what am I bringing to the situation to make my suffering and my spouse's suffering worse? What can I do to be better? What can I do to be better? What can I add to the situation to make it better instead of to make the suffering even worse? Because it's one thing to have to suffer, but if you have to suffer, when you want to reduce your suffering, I don't think anybody would want to suffer. But if you have to suffer and you had the opportunity and the power to make your suffering a little easier, would you not choose to do that? So now is the time for us to look at ourselves and to reevaluate, what are we bringing to the situation to make things worse? Because for me, it was resentment. I was bringing resentment to my household that was making my situation worse, that was making my suffering not the best. Not saying that if I didn't have resentment that I wasn't going to suffer. I still was going to suffer because it's a part of the package. You can't walk in the spirit without suffering. And I learned that the other day through the teaching that I was watching, Jeremiah chapter 20 with the prophet Jeremiah. He had went through suffering himself, and it was amazing because he had like a moment where he was going through the motions of feeling different ways and having this thought in his head and talking to the Most High. And it's like, man, that's like a mirror image of some conversations I have had, or some experiences I have had, and some feelings that I had experienced. And at the end of the day, I came to the same conclusion that he came to. And it's like, okay, so you understand long suffering, but let's learn how to suffer well. Suffer well. I know that might not sound right to some of us. That whole idea of suffering don't sound right, because like I said, who wants to suffer? No one is gonna volunteer to say, I suffer. I suffer for whatever situation. I'll be the one to suffer. Nobody is gonna volunteer for that. However, if you are walking in the spirit like a lot of us say we are, it comes with the package, whether you want it or not. It comes with the package. So since it's gonna come with the package, let's learn how to do it well. Let's learn how to not add to somebody else's suffering. Let's learn how to reduce how much suffering we are actually going to and are enduring. Let's learn how to make our suffering easier. We have to grow. We have to learn. We have to mature. We can't be stuck. Walking in the spirit is gonna take you through some steps. It's going to take you through some levels. It's going to show you some things. It's going to test you. It's going to show you who you are. It's going to show you your heart. Long suffering is a real thing. So this mindset of I can do bad all by myself, though that very well may be true. We all can do bad, and we don't need help to do it. We all can do bad. We don't need help to do it. But if you really want to grow, If you really want to change, if you really want to walk with the Most High in His ways, you're going to have to go through some stuff. You're going to have to go through some stuff, and it's going to be uncomfortable. It's going to be painful. It's going to be sometimes seem like it's never going to end. Sometimes it's going to seem like it's never going to end. Things never going to get better. Things never going to change. But what I have said recently, the only person you can change is you. Things don't change until we realize that we have the power to change us, how we see things, how we handle things, the decisions that we make. We are the key factor in our lives. We are the key factors in our lives. And if you don't believe it or not, how people treat you is really determined by you and the decisions in which you make, how you carry yourself, how you treat them, how you look at life. If you don't believe it, keep living. Hopefully you'll learn it one day. If you don't believe that, how people treat you is determined by how you allow them to treat you and how you treat them. So, I think I've said everything I needed to say. I'm not really sure. I don't know, because this was like on a whim. I did, however, wanted to go to my Blue Letter Bible and go and look up the word long-suffering. Because, hey, Treese, good to see you, girl. How you doing? Let me see. Long-suffering. Here we go. I wanted to look at the definition. Long-suffering equals patience. Patience, endurance, consistency, steadfastness, perseverance, forbearance, long-suffering, slowness in avenging wrongs. Let me say that again. Slowness in avenging wrongs. So when you're long-suffering, you have to have slowness in avenging wrongs. When somebody do you wrong, especially in marriage. Marriage is a to death do us part. But in today's time, unfortunately, marriage is until I'm unhappy. I have no idea where that concept comes from. Yes, I do. I do. We have this whole belief that marriage in today's time is until I'm unhappy. We have people getting divorced because they're unhappy. I've been unhappy for the last 2 years. Okay, so you need to find something to make you happy, because there's no way in this world another person is responsible for your happiness. They can add to your happiness and or take away from your happiness, but your happiness is your responsibility. When you get married, you don't get married so that your spouse can make you happy. If that's the purpose of you getting married, then you don't need to be married. You shouldn't get married. For those of you who are single and you're thinking about getting married because you want somebody to make you happy. Being married is a commitment, and it comes with a lot of responsibility that a lot of us don't even realize is associated and attached to marriage. We think marriage is this grand old couple goals. You know, it looks good for the gram. It looks good on Facebook. The wedding pictures are phenomenal. Y'all had the best wedding ever. The celebration was great. You spent how much on it? The honeymoon you going where? But the real work comes in after all of that. Anybody can obtain something, but can you maintain it? Can you keep it? And part of marriage is long suffering. Because you literally have two people walking as one. Two people walking as one. Do you know how hard it is to get two people to agree on where to eat at? So can you imagine how hard it is to get two people to agree on life-changing situations? Life-altering situations? Can you imagine two people coming together in today's time where we're all out of order. We're all out of order in so many different ways. But now in today's time, you have two different people trying to walk together as one, and both of them coming in with all kinds of baggage. All kinds of baggage. So when you start to unpack the baggage and you start seeing that this person got this going on and you got that going on, and now you both have to learn how to get rid of the baggage that you both have individually and then still merge as one, it's going to take some time. It's going to take some long suffering. It's going to take some work. And like I said, don't think that I'm trying to talk negatively about my husband, because that's not what I'm doing at all, because my husband has come a long way. He has come a long way. Has changed a lot, has grown a lot. I also entered into this relationship with a lot of baggage, a lot of demons. I am not perfect, have never been perfect, probably would never be perfect in the definition of how we see perfection, right? So when you hear me say these things, don't think I'm belittling my husband, because I never do that. Especially not on no social media platform. I never do that. But my point is, long suffering is a real thing. And we don't think that we have to suffer. And we definitely don't think that we have to suffer long. We definitely don't think that. We only think that suffering only supposed to last for a certain amount of time. And I'm going to give this joker this amount of time to have his act right. And if his act ain't right by this time, I'm gone. Oh, if she ain't stepping up to the plate and giving me what I need by this time or what I want by this time, then I'm going to go find somebody else. That's the mindset of us today. Unfortunately, we want everything quick, fast, and in a hurry. We want our desires to be met quick, fast, and in a hurry. We don't believe that we have to suffer. And we definitely don't think we have to suffer long. But, like I was saying, according to the definition of long suffering, using the Blue Letter Bible app, long suffering means patience, endurance, consistency, steadfastness, perseverance, forbearance, slowness in avenging wrongs. You can avenge a wrong in so many different ways. You can avenge a wrong in so many different ways. You can get real creative. It don't have to be an outright way of avenging what someone has done to you. It could be a discreet way. But you know in your heart why you're choosing to do what you're choosing to do. You know why you're doing or not doing certain things. Because it's your get back. It's your getting your lick back, as we say in today's time. Oh, I'm going to get my lick back. We pride ourselves on getting our licks back. Yes, we do. We pride ourselves on getting our licks back. But if you're walking in the Spirit, the fruit of the Spirit, long suffering is a part of that. And if you don't have long suffering, then there's some work that still needs to be done. There's some work that still needs to be done. So I'm pondering real quick because I want to make sure that I say everything that I wanted to say or needed to say. Because, again, a lot of us truly believe that we can do bad all by ourselves, in which we can. I mean, we really can. We can do bad all by ourselves. It's not hard to do. You know, it's really not hard to do bad by ourselves. But if you want to do good, if you want to walk in the Spirit, if you want to walk with the Holy Spirit, if you say that the Holy Spirit dwells in you, you got to understand that long suffering is a fruit of that. Long suffering is a fruit of that. If you are married, long suffering is a part of your commitment to your spouse. Now that don't mean, let me put this disclaimer out there. It does not mean for those of you who are in abusive relationships, to allow that woman, because women do it too, or that man to consistently go upside your head, blacken your eyes, bust your mouth, your nose, put bruises all over your body, break bones. It does not mean that. I'm not talking about those of you. If you're in that type of relationship and you're suffering in that kind of way, that's not what I'm saying. You do not have to allow yourself to be a punching bag for anybody. And I'm talking to the men as well as I'm talking to the women, because a lot of us women have hand problems. We like to be reaching out and touching people just because they make us feel some kind of way. And that's wrong. So for you men out there who are punching bags for your wife, you don't have to endure that. For you women who are punching bags for your husband, you do not have to endure that. So don't take this message and think that I'm speaking to you when I say that long suffering is a part of your marriage, because that's not what I'm talking about. And that's not what the Most High is talking about. He's not telling us to suffer physical abuse. He's not talking about that. He's not talking about allowing yourself to be put in harm's way. I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about life situations when it comes to being uncomfortable or not happy in the moment with the performance of your spouse. And I'm not talking about sexual performance. I'm talking about any kind of performance, even though that could be still slid in there, but that's not the focal point of what I'm saying. I'm talking about their ability to do things the way that you think they should do things, or in a pleasing way that's pleasing to you, in a satisfactory way for you. That's what I'm talking about. So we got to understand long suffering is a real thing, y'all. And if you don't have the patience to endure anything, then you have to question your stance and your walk and your seriousness when it comes to your walk with the Most High, your walk with the Holy Spirit, being guided by the Holy Spirit. Trying to see if there's anything else that I need to say. I don't know. Is it anything else I need to say? I don't know. But I thank you all for coming in and for joining and speaking. Thank you all. I kind of feel like it's something else I was supposed to be saying or pointing out. Long suffering is a topic, long suffering is mentioned in scripture a lot. And it was something else that I wanted to say. I'm trying to remember what it was, because I know it's going to come to me as soon as I get off of this. As soon as I get off this live, it's going to hit me. It won't come to me right now, y'all. But understand, we all can do bad all by ourselves. But don't let that be the reason why you disconnect yourself from a relationship that is intended to be until death do us part. Because in the moment, and maybe even for a while, you have been unhappy and suffering. Because long suffering is something that we're supposed to experience. But you have to learn how to suffer well. You have to learn how to suffer well. And again, I'm not talking about in physically abusive relationships. I'm not talking about that. Don't be nobody's punching bag. And don't you think that it's okay for you to put your hands on folks either. Women, talking to y'all. Keep your hands to yourself. Keep your hands to yourself. I think that's it, y'all. I don't think I can say anything else. I mean, I'm pretty sure I could, but will it benefit us? Will it benefit us? Don't know. But y'all have a wonderful day. Y'all have a wonderful day.